All right, this live stream is firing up on LinkedIn, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Everyone, welcome to the first Ask Me Anything live stream for Codings Talk. I'm very thrilled to be with you here on the eve of American Thanksgiving. And during this time of the year, as we wind down the current year and finalize our goals and plans for the next year, I'm doing the same thing for Codings Talk and my other content. The digital revolution, smash the like, and the return of the rundown. Now, stay tuned for additional details and updates on my entire catalog of content coming in 2024. Whether you're turning in to this or tuning into this from your cozy living room or your favorite coffee shop, or even if you're in your office, hey, listen, we're all working hard to close 2023 as a very successful year. I'm ready to dive into your questions. Well, I hope for that and greatly appreciate the questions and comments during this live broadcast. I did pre-announce this stream and advised that emailing me questions would be perfect, and which I happily received over a dozen plus emails and comments with questions as well that I'll cover in addition to any live comments or questions that come during the stream and during our conversation today. Now, before I get into everything, let me say that this live broadcast and all content materials produced and distributed by Codings Talk and myself does not represent or reflect any positions or opinions of Akzo Nobel International. All right, let's move on. Okay, for those who might be wondering what an Ask Me Anything is, well, it's kind of like a digital town hall where you get an opportunity to ask me any question, whether it's about life, the universe, and everything. Now, that's a shout out to Douglas Adams and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or more specific topics like coatings and corrosion topics, industry trends, or how to grow your professional brand as a subject matter expert, or becoming a content creator focused on the global coatings and corrosion industries. Well, I'm ready to answer those questions for you. So please fire away, enter your comments and questions in the chat, and let's embark on this delightful journey of curiosity, knowledge, and maybe a few unexpected twists. And remember, there are no silly questions here, only opportunities for learning. So let's make this Ask Me Anything a memorable session. Comments and questions submitted to me via mailbox will not be in any order during the streams as they were received in my inbox. We already have someone posting coatings. That's a great topic. So let's go ahead into the first question that one of the first questions I thought was real interesting is, during 2023, where were the top trends in the global protective coatings industry? And this is actually research I had done at the beginning of the year, going into the year, but also during the year as we really looked at, what are some of the hot trends? What are the buzzwords out there? What are some of the articles that are being written in various different trade magazines globally? The first is an increasing demand for high performance coatings. Industries such as automotive, aerospace, and industrial equipment, they were the top in demand industries for coatings that could withstand harsh conditions, they could resist chemicals, and provide long-lasting protection. So high-performance coatings have consistently been gaining in popularity because a lot of engineers that work on coating specifications and also owners are highly requiring better durability and reliability. The next trend was focus on sustainable and eco-friendly coatings. Now, environmental consciousness is still driving the adoption of sustainable protective coatings, and manufacturers globally are still developing and releasing eco-friendly alternatives that minimize VOCs and address environmental regulations and really massive governmental credits and funding. The next is technology advancements. Innovations in coating formulations, prep and application techniques with the use of robotics, and also extreme curing processes like low temperature that don't impact a protective coating's performance. Nanotechnology, smart coatings, and self-healing coatings are areas of active research and development. Customized, tailored solutions. Now, asset and infrastructure owners are seeking coatings that meet very specific requirements. So a customized formulation in some cases and a customized approach when it comes to providing solutions is really where it's at in 2023. And it's because we're working with different types of substrates, different corrosion resistance that are needed. You have fire protection, and really an emphasis also too when it comes to a lot of the architectural side is the aesthetics, is having these structures look very nice for a long stand of time. Digitalization and Industry 4.0 integrations. Now, coating manufacturers post-pandemic are still slowly adopting digital tools for quality control, real-time manufacturing monitoring, and predictive forecasting and planning. Now, there are also uses of broadband, or let's say the Internet of Things, enabled sensors and data analyzers that can optimize coating manufacturing in the process and also to improve the product consistency. So a reliance of going from physical to a lot of the digital tools to kind of help the manufacturing process. Emerging markets is another trend, and infrastructure development. Now, growing construction and infrastructure projects in developing global economies have been driving demand for protective coatings. And the emerging markets like EV vehicle, EV battery, alternative fuels, and environmental technologies like carbon capture and hydrogen production, well, they really require engineered solutions to address corrosion protection. And the last trend that's very hot for 2023 has been a focus on health and safety regulations. Now, those require compliance with safety standards and regulations. And for example, low VOC coatings, hazardous material-free options, and coatings with minimal health risk are still gaining prominence out there. And to sum up all this, the protective coatings industry continues to evolve to meet the diverse requirements and balance between performance and sustainability and embrace technological advancements. So let's go to the next question. And this one is, what are your thoughts on career pathways for industrial painters in North America? And what I wanted to use for this, because this is a question I do get from time to time, is we are having a challenge right now, not only in really finding and keeping and growing our industrial painting painters base, the surface preparation, craft workers, the coating application, craft workers, and I'm talking specifically in North America. We're having a difficulty with that. I think as industry professionals, we need to do a better job in the coatings industry to really sell the value of a career. And I'm talking about not only as a craft worker, but also too as a professional. Most everyone, like myself, that works in and around this industry, same thing for the corrosion industry, most of the time we get told you're now a corrosion person, you're now a coatings person. We don't grow up and we want to become a coatings person or professional or corrosion professional unless our parents own a company. They're either a contractor or a provider when it comes to CP or other types of services. That being said, we need to do better. We need to cultivate and really kind of grow that younger generation to take over, as myself and many maybe of you are watching as we're aging. We're going to be stepping to the side and opening up the door for a new generation. So what I wanted to do, and this is going to be something I found this, it's still active on the site, and it goes back to the time frame of the SSPC had career pathways related to applicators, the blasters, the applicators, and then also for inspection as well. Well, this particular graph I'll show you, you have to take this and look at it that this stuff has been modified. You've had the merger between SSPC, NACE, now AMP. So a lot of this stuff has been kind of merged together in some areas, And also, too, it's been adjusted, modified to the new AMP format, form, features, and functions, and things like that. But there is career pathways. And I think this representation, when it comes to really kind of educating a younger generation who's looking to get into industrial painting, this is a good way to show them that they can go from literally, let's say, starting off in training, going through apprenticeship, if you want to term it that way. And as they go through their journey, they have the opportunity to earn other certifications, which now opens the door and opportunity for them to really advance themselves, to make family sustainable wages, and not to incur hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt because they've gone to college. And I'm not knocking people who go to college, who have gone to college. Everyone has to walk whatever path that they determine is for them. And that's important. That's important to me. I think that's important to everyone watching us right now. But there are career paths, and the industry really needs. And I think AMP, from talking with staff, and I was former staff and also legacy SSPC, I know there is an emphasis and a focus on this. The trade union, this is something that they strive and talk with a lot of people who are coming into apprenticeship and everything like that. Even a lot of the contractors, the major contractors are out there. They are really kind of showcasing, listen, here's an opportunity for you. And what I like about having that career pathway discussion with it, you can have someone say, listen, you can start off and learn the basics, get your certifications. And as you start to age in the industry, maybe it's an opportunity for you to start your own business, or maybe you'll go into inspection, or maybe you'll work for a coating manufacturer, or maybe you'll go work for another type of industry, or do other things, to really lay that out for them so that they understand that you're not looking to get them to be a blaster and an applicator their whole life. It's a hard job, and not everybody's cut out for it. So you have to really show a progression and say, maybe by the time you're in your late 30s and early 40s, now you're looking to become an inspector, or maybe you're looking to kind of move yourself into a new business or start a business. So I do like kind of talking about this career pathways and showing this stuff to individuals as well. So that was a really good question right there. So the next question that I did want to feature is, will Coatings Talk during 2024 cover more corrosion related topics? And I get this all the time. I will admit I did not do a good job in 2023 when it came to Coatings Talk to do a good balance between corrosion and coatings. And let me tell you something. In Google Analytics, and if you have a YouTube channel and you really look into what hashtags and what topics do very well, this is amazing to think about it. But corrosion-related topics on YouTube outperform 3-to-1 protective coatings topics. So myself as a content creator and trying to get to that 2,000 plus subscribers and continue to grow, because my goal in the next 2 years is to get to over 5,000 subscribers on just the channel for Coatings Talk. The only way I'm going to do that is if I'm delivering content that's both informative, but also too, people are seeking it. It's showing up in their searches. It's being recommended to them. So that's a lot of things I will be doing in 2024. I will look to do a good balance between it. So, hold tight. You'll see a better improvement. I'm going to shake some things up a little different. Also try to do more interviews with people than me just doing presentations, basically, and recording that and putting out as episodes. Still do that, but I need to get back to that. And the other thing I think I need to get back is into short form content, like I used to do the 2-minute lessons. Those do very well. Some of the ones that have, 20, 25,000 views are the 2-minute shorts on intumescence, also too on other type of topics that seem to be very specialized. So I'm going to look to get back into that as well. So let's move on. All right. This one I really like too. So I'm thinking about getting the AMP Protective Coatings Specialist certification. And the question was posed to me as a legacy PCS, myself as a holder, what is the value of obtaining the PCS? And this is what I tell everyone. For me, professionally, in the protective coatings industry, I don't have the opportunity to become a level 2 or a level 3 senior coatings inspector. The same thing if I follow the path on the concrete coatings inspector, the most I can ever do is level 1, go for just basic inspector. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with having that. And I do have the legacy protective coatings inspector level 1 with SSPC, or I had it. And then also to the same thing with the concrete coatings inspector. The only certification that I had, professional certification that I had an opportunity to qualify for and challenge a certification exam, was the protective coating specialist. And the reason why is because of my time in the industry. I did have start off in powder coating, started working through SSPC, gaining my knowledge, taking courses, passing all the requirements that I needed to have to challenge the exam. But I was working in and around coating specifications and also to project requirements, the type of documents, and everything was really related to project estimating and project planning and specifications. So in order for me to obtain a certification, the best thing for me to do, but also to better myself, is to get to a point where I could challenge that certification. And I really am very glad that I did that. And the reason why I say that is because it really opened my eyes to fully understand every element of not just the specification, but the entire the entity of the projects when we're looking at these large capital projects, when it comes to financial determination, really kind of looking at putting things together, what goes involved in estimating, and also to what are some of the things that need to be within the specification. And then the important thing is having a better understanding of industry consensus standards, because you're not only talking about really understanding SSPC, NACE, and AMP standards, but also too, there are other things. You might be working with ICRI guidelines. There might be other type of industries, related industries that have guidelines or specifications or whatever type of technical documents. So it really did kind of help prepare me to fully appreciate and understand that. And so I was very, very glad to be able to obtain that certification. And with the certification, what you really have to do is there are some requirements that you have to be able to hit, both time in the industry and experience. And then there are certain courses that you will have to take. I know one of the ones that's very important for all the AMP certifications is to take an ethics course. And that is very important to be able to have a full understanding. And I'm going to talk a little later here in this stream about when you're looking at potential liability risk. As a content creator, I have to be very mindful and very cautious because I get questions all the time from people that are asking me to formulate an opinion based on some project information, and I'm not going to do that. There's not enough out there for me to want to even do anything like that because of the potential risk and liability. So, as a subject matter expert or a content creator working in the corrosion and coatings industry, you have to be very mindful of what you say, and also too, when you're answering questions, what you're saying, or again, if you're going to an opinion, you have to be very, very mindful of what that potential opinion might be. So the next question was, what advice and recommendations do you have for someone looking to become a technical content creator? I get this question a lot. And Carlos, I'll say this is a very good question. And also too, related to Carlos's question, it's not only English language, but also do consider the viewers and also potential followers and subscribers in Spanish language and also French as well, especially in North America, where you really want to
if you have multiple language capability, consider doing that. Even if you have subtitles that you could put into some of your video content so that you can have language translation, that's really important as well. I guess I could throw in Portuguese. I'm thinking of Bruno Batista, so maybe even Brazilian Portuguese as well. But the first thing I'd want to talk about is really, master your technical domain. For myself, I don't know everything about everything, but you really do want to have a good understanding of the subject matter. And I think when it comes to, basic protective coatings and corrosion concepts and also to conditions and situations and things like that, I think I have a pretty good understanding of, what typically is important technical content to cover. So, whether it's coatings and or corrosion or another field that you want to focus on, you really need to immerse yourself in it. You want to learn what's important, especially to your global industry. And you want to stay updated with trends and really explore advanced topics. Stretch yourself out there. Look for other experts and professionals. And you want to make sure, too, that you do qualify them as well. And I'll mention that as well as this goes on here. But you really want to take your content to the next level. That's really important. The next piece of advice I'd have for a content creator is to choose your niche. And the global coatings and corrosion industries are very vast. You want to really kind of narrow down on a niche that resonates with you personally and professionally. And you want to focus on the niche that allows you to build expertise and to attract target audiences. Don't think about the number of followers you have. Don't think about the number of subscribers you have, because if you're focused on a particular niche and you're really centered and you become known as that subject matter expert in that particular one or two or three different types of areas or expertise, that's going to be perfect for you, because that's really what I think people are looking for. They're not looking for somebody that's a Mr. Know-it-all, knows everything about everything. It's too impossible. Is that right? I would say it's impossible to know everything. So that's where you really kind of want to look at grounding yourself and saying, I can't be everything to everybody, but this is what really helps me when I get up every day. This is what is my passion. This is stuff I really enjoy. Now, the next important one is, do you want to create high quality content? Now, you could start off doing newsletters or blogs. You could do YouTube videos. You could start doing audio podcast or video vodcast. And you really want to prioritize quality. You want to do a lot of research. You also want to do a lot of fact checking, and you want to provide value to your audience. So, well-researched content stands out. And as I just mentioned earlier, you always need to qualify your technical guest. What I do is I actually do a outline, a content outline, and that does a couple things. First, it helps to focus and center what the topic is that's going to be covered. The second thing it does is, if you have a guest or guest, it helps them be included, because what you're doing is you're tailoring that content outline to not only the topic, but also to maybe the expertise or the particular skill set of your guests that you have. And then they can provide feedback and also to provide other insights that maybe can be added to that technical content outline. It's not a script, but it really does help guide things. And then later, what I like about it is I can go back at the end of the year or later on and review and say, okay, well, I kind of talked about surface prep, but really on this level, I didn't cover this aspect of it. So now that gives me an opportunity to say, okay, surface prep, you might be able to do a half dozen or a dozen different episodes of content for it. And if you have those outlines, you can go back and say, okay, well, I kind of talked about this, that, and this other thing, but I didn't talk about these three other things or four other things. So think about it that way as well. Now, you want to build a portfolio. You want to showcase your work. Now, you could create a personal website or just simply do a blog, or what a lot of people have been doing is taking advantage of LinkedIn. You have a streaming capability to do, like we are right now, a live broadcast. You have the ability to do a newsletter. I think I have maybe close or over 3,000 subscribers to my newsletter, the Codings Talk Insights, or Insight, excuse me. And then also too, when you do other types of posts and things like that. So, maybe you focus in on just like LinkedIn, or maybe you do create a website, or you belong to some type of a chat group, let's say an industry community and things like that. I recently started Codings Talk as a community group on LinkedIn. So, those are things you can do as well. And you really want to share your technical insights. You want to offer maybe tutorials or case studies that you're putting together or you're looking to create. Starting a YouTube channel is really easy. And then a portfolio of your content, it really kind of demonstrates your expertise to others in the industry. The other thing is you can go back and you can look at metrics. You can look at, if you're just using LinkedIn, you can look at the metrics when it comes to views. And then also too, after this stream ends, well, this recording, others can watch it as well. So go back and look and see exactly how things are working for you and what are hot topics for you on a platform, what's not working. Same thing with the analytics on YouTube are incredible with YouTube Studio. And I mean, you can really, like I say, you can even search up terms and say, I was thinking about doing content on this topic. Search the hashtag. If there is a hashtag, take a look at really kind of how it ranks and also how many views it has. Does it have 1 million views or a couple hundred views? And that can really help fine tune it as well. You need to collaborate and network. It's super critical to be connected with industry leaders, industry experts, and importantly, influencers. You want to collaborate on content, on post, and create content by conducting interviews. Those are real easy ways to create content. That's kind of how I started out, was just picking a topic, finding somebody in that industry and just picking their brain and interview them and get to know them. In fact, I used to laugh all the time. People were very concerned if they work for a company, they didn't want to talk too much about their company, their product or service. And then later I would get comments from people saying, hey, that was a great interview with so-and-so. I wish he would have talked more about his products or she would have talked about her services and things like that. So it is kind of funny in a way that a lot of times when you do interviews, you're concerned about commercialization or, doing an infomercial, but a lot of times people do want to know a little bit more about that guest, especially what company maybe they represent, product line or services and things like that. Now, networking does help really kind of help expand your reach, and it does open you to new opportunities for content. And I think that's the evolution that I had, is that I went from doing Global Topic, which was kind of the precursor of Codings Talk. And that was right before going into the pandemic. And then with some pressure, look to do other content. So I did Build Out, which dealt with professional development type of topics and things like that. And then once I retired Build Out, Codings Talk became a thing. And then I started looking at, the rundown. I want to talk about, really important news, not political conversations, things like that, but, other type of business news and things like that. So the rundown really came out. And then the other side of me was, I like to have some fun. So let's do Smash the Like, and let's talk about some crazy topics like, 100-year-old grandmothers, great grandmothers that are jumping out of airplanes and things like that. That I really enjoy doing that, and I'm looking forward to bringing Smash the Like back again. And the rundown will be coming back as well as we go further along into the winter here. Gives me a little bit of extra time while I'm in the home and everything like that. The next tip I have is to stay curious and keep learning. Coatings and corrosion industry, they're rapidly evolving. I mean, we're not talking about, what might have taken years in the past for products and other types of things. We're talking about year after year. I mean, we're seeing advancements in robotics. We're seeing, pretty wild multi-tool type of capability when it comes to inspection equipment, where, maybe you use one piece of equipment to perform multiple different types of tests. Before, you used to have something that was a physical thing. Now it can be electronic, and in some cases it can do multiple things when it comes to data collection, when it comes to, recording, audit information, or if you're doing coding inspection where you have it on an iPad to be able to kind of do real-time type of processing when it comes to inspections and things. So the technology is just changing so rapidly. So you really have to be very, very real close to changing trends, and also anything that happens out in the industry, be it coatings and or corrosion. And the other thing too that I recommend is, I had mentioned earlier that the Coatings Talk community, which is a LinkedIn group, those are important to have because it's opportunities for you to share information more rapidly, and I think more to a focus group. And the other thing is for that focus group to communicate with other members in that community, but also for those members of Coatings Talk community, for example, to communicate and to, brainstorm and share information with me, because I really appreciate the feedback loop. I think it's so critical to have that. And really, if you're, continuous learning is also important because it helps you keep your content fresh and relevant, which really provides you the best opportunity to grow subscribers and your followers as well. The next thing is you have to promote your content. Just don't assume that your content will automatically find an audience. So if you have to be brave and be able to put yourself out there, you want to share your work on multiple social media platforms, that makes sense. You want to participate in relevant industry forums, and you also want to engage your audience. Consistent promotion is essential. You want to be consistent with it. And the last piece of advice I have for everyone is to be authentic and be passionate. Let your enthusiasm for the coatings and corrosion industries really shine through. Being authentic attracts like-minded followers, subscribers, and viewers. They stay very loyal to you throughout your content production cycles and things like that. You also want to share your professional experiences, knowledge, and also share your passion. For me, one of the passions I have is to get more people in the corrosion and coatings industries to become content creators, because we've got a very important message to really share out there. A lot of people still don't understand exactly the importance of coatings, or, why do we need to be warriors against corrosion? A lot of people still don't understand what we do. So let's move on. I like this one because I've had kind of a really being on the leadership of the AMP Steel City chapter, but also getting involved with MPI on standards, and then also being part of AMP communities, and then also to really kind of be involved with the AMP conference and other elements of AMP. What are my thoughts about AMP? And I do have the legacy of the SSPC. I was also an active member with NACE and participate with the NACE section in Pittsburgh, and also to the areas when they would have their conferences and things like that. And then transitioning the merger, helping to create the foundation of AMP. I was there involved with several of the groups that were involved in doing really kind of the building of AMP when it launched. So I have a different perspective. And the thing that I've come to appreciate about AMP is that it is a very strong organization that has potential. And the potential is absolutely there. I still view AMP, and I think everyone probably views AMP, it's the members. The members are what really makes AMP special and gives it an opportunity to really grow and thrive globally related to corrosion, coatings, material protection, and really wherever else AMP is going to go into the future. It takes us as members to be able to participate with the organization, to take ownership, our part of the ownership of that organization, to help grow it, expand it, make it successful. And, my friend, one of my best industry friends, Sam Navarro, he recently had an opportunity to meet with the CEO, and coming out of it, his conversations with me related to conversations with Alan were just absolutely amazing. And I even have great admiration of the board, talking with different board members, listening to them, and also them having active listening to what members, the challenges, the issues, the concerns that members have, because that's the only way the organization is going to grow. And what I wanted to share with you was just recently, I really appreciated this, and a shout out to AMP, a redesign of the AMP website. And it just is so much easier to navigate and to work through. And I was had the opportunity when this was first launched to really go through it, and I can say it's a huge improvement over what was existing. So again, the evolution of AMP is absolutely outstanding in my opinion. I think the future looks really good and everything like that. And I'm real happy to be involved with AMP, both on the chapter side, but also standards, participating with the conference. Any type I've done opportunity to do maybe some content with them and everything like that. And like I say, it's everything for AMP's future is on the members. It really is. You can't lay it on the board strictly and on the staff strictly. It takes everyone else in this community to help expand and grow and really kind of make AMP thrive moving forward. All right, enough of that. So let's go to the next question. I like this one. Before I get into it, what I wanted to talk about, the next three questions that I'm going to cover are kind of technical questions, but they're not the type of technical questions, in my opinion. I think you'll see it. They're pretty basic type of things that are industry best practices, consensus type of opinions and discussion that we can have on these questions. But what I wanted to do before I cover this is there are different questions that I get when it comes to technical questions that I receive. And the majority of technical questions that come my way can really be addressed by citing industry best practices, industry resources, or industry consensus, areas of consensus from the industry. And that's both corrosion and coatings as well. Now, on a monthly basis, there are a few questions that I get that what I'll call, they're asking for a technical decision or professional opinion on specific project work or inspection situations, assessments, or interpretations of technical documents, maybe even testing analysis and things like that. Now, as a principal, I review these as potentially liability triggering questions. And I might, in some cases, cite industry resources and sources to say, hey, check this out. And maybe it's a case study on that particular topic. Or maybe it's a resource that's an industry resource that addresses that particular question or situation they may have. And a lot of times I do have people get very frustrated with me because I won't provide a professional call or opinion. Now, liability risks are huge in both the coatings and corrosion industries. And as a content creator or a subject matter expert, you really have to avoid questions that are posted to you that will potentially place you in an adverse liability situation. Even with professional liability insurance, you might find yourself underprotected because of your opinion. So I say to everyone, or presenting technical questions to me, to really fully understand that I will never provide a professional call and or specific position. And I'm not a level 3 or a senior coatings inspector. And based on my current career path, I will never have that opportunity to achieve full certification as an inspector. But also, too, I have to be very mindful, and you do too. So if you're looking to be a subject matter expert or content creator, be very careful of potential liability traps that you could get yourself into. So this question, I do have gotten this, and actually I've had third parties inspectors call me up and yell at me for my position on this. But to me, this is industry consensus, I think. You can disagree with me, and please, if you do, just cite me how I'm wrong. The second thing also too is industry best practice. I think um, one of the questions I got was, on occasion I have contracted third-party coatings inspectors that push back against our corporate requirement for an inspection plan. In this scenario is that they require the contractor to provide a work plan. They also want the inspector to provide. It's in the contract. It's in when the award's done. It says in there, you have to provide an inspection plan prior to the start of the project work. So the question is it reasonable to ask for an inspection plan? In my opinion, and I believe in the opinion is a consensus for the industry, that whatever the owner wants, if you bid on it and you awarded that contract, you shouldn't go and say, I don't have to give this to you because I'm a senior coatings inspector. You need to fulfill what you committed to. So that being said, it's up to the owner, really. If they want to say, okay, we don't need to have that, or maybe over time they say, hey, we work with this third party all the time, we're okay, we really don't have to have that. That's their decision, right? But if an owner asks for it, why would you resist to provide it to them? If you're going to be working with the contractor to do quality assurance, they have their work plan. Your inspection plan is in a way going to dovetail and work in conjunction with that contractor work plan, is it not? So that's the way I think I look at it too. The owner drives everything. It's up to them. Let them, if they say they want it, they want it. If they want to waive it, they can waive it. Now, as everyone knows, when it comes to a work plan or inspection plan, the owners, either the owner or the agent on behalf of the owner, they will review and they will accept the work plan or an inspection plan. They're not going to technically approve it. So also keep that in mind as well, because you're looking for the owner to accept your plan. Okay. The next one. Can you share? Oh, wait, what did I do here? Maybe I skipped. Did I skip? Here we go. Sorry about that. I skipped. Can you share some best practices related to coating specifications? I really like this, and I've had opportunity to do past conversations on this and discussions and things like that. So for me, I really, really stress a well-written, thoroughly thought over, a really clear and concise coating specification. No cutting and pasting and things like that, but really kind of writing it out and have it being very, you want to leave it where you've got contractors that really know how to do their work. If you're hiring the right contractor, they know how to do their work. They're going to bring best practices and also to really kind of follow that specification and add a lot of value to it. So let them do, the means and methods and things like that. Same thing with the coatings inspector. So, avoid the prescriptive and just make, you make it kind of a guidance specification. This is what you're looking for. This is the goals. This is really what you're looking for. You're citing standards. And also, too, you want to be careful with citing standards because, I remember in the past, not more recently, but in the past, a good example was SSPC PA2, which, in the not too distant past, it was being revised all the time. And there was times where you might run across a specification where they actually list the version at that time. So, you have to look at that. Are you saying you want them to use PA2 from that time or the current iteration, the current approved version of what PA2 is? So really put a lot of thought into it and just, keep it relatively, really kind of easy to work with, not too complex, like I say, clear and concise and everything like that. So that's kind of where I come from when I come to specifications and things like that. So let's get into some of these questions. Let's see here. What's this one? Okay. Why do bubbles and or blisters occur with protective coatings applied over concrete substrates? This is a really great question. Bubbles and blisters and protective coatings on concrete can occur for numerous really reasons. The first is osmotic blistering, and osmosis is a process by which water, moisture molecules, they move through a semi-permeable membrane. In this occurrence, it would be the coating film. And osmotic blistering occurs when moisture accumulates within the coating film due to factors such as water-soluble salts, entrapped solvents, or thermal gradients. Now, the appearance of this is you're going to see dense and spotty blisters that form on the coating surface. Next is coating application over moisture. Now, when coatings are applied over surfaces with existing moisture, bubbles can form. And how the scenario kind of works out, if the coating dries too quickly or too slowly due to extreme temperature, gases, including air, may get entrapped and it leads to blistering or bubbling. And related to concrete, concrete substrates, especially, they can be they are very porous in some cases. They can release trapped gases during the curing process that cause bubbles within the coating itself. And then surface contaminations come to mind as well. Contaminations on the concrete surface, such as oils, grease, dust, can really interfere with coating adhesion, and you're going to have blisters and or bubbles that could form due to poor bonding between the coating and the concrete substrate. And this is where you have to really highly stress that proper surface preparation and cleaning are essential before applying the concrete coatings as well. And then the last thing I'll cover on this question is moisture vapor transmission. And moisture vapor can migrate from concrete substrates through into the coating film. Now, if the coating is impermeable to moisture vapor, pressure can build up, leading to blistering. And this is where you want to look at some vapor permeable coatings for concrete substrates. Now, remember, as I just mentioned a short while ago, that surface preparation is extremely important on concrete, as well as the proper selection of coatings and also to the control application. Looking at those thermal variances, when you're looking at thermal variances, they do play a significant role really in preventing bubbles and blisters. And by understanding specific causes in each scenario, it can really help you address issues more effectively and efficiently as well. So what I wanted to do is to talk about a charity opportunity. And this is a sweepstakes. And I really appreciate not only the Steel City chapter, but also to AMP. Last conference, Terry Bradshaw was from this legacy Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. He was the featured speaker at the last AMP conference in this past spring, and he autographed some footballs. So there's a sweepstakes, and the donations are $25 for an entry, and you can get 3 entries for $50, which is a really good deal. I just did mine for $50. But what you can really do is support scholarships. And what the Steel City chapter is looking to do, and I think a lot of chapters AMP too, we really want to give back to not only to the craft workers, but also we really need the professional side covered as well. We need to have young professionals coming out of college that are really geared to coatings and corrosion work and things like that. So what I'd highly recommend, if you go and you can see, actually it's on the AMP website. If you go to the amp.org, or you could just go on LinkedIn. I did a post, with a link. But if you go to the amp.org website, you go to membership, drop down to chapters, and then go into the Eastern area, go down to Steel City. It will pop up when you hit Steel City. There is a donate button. You can do it by PayPal, credit card, And again, like I say, each entry is $25. You get 3 for $50 for sweepstakes. On December 7th, we will have the Steel City chapter will be having its Christmas and holiday party, and it's going to be hosted by KTA, and the sponsor for the food and beverages is Tank Services. So I thank KTA for being the host, and also Tank Services for stepping up and providing really awesome food we're going to have, and also we're going to have this sweepstakes drawing. Now the plan is to do a live stream. It would be on the AMP YouTube channel, and we will do that. And special guests coming to the event is Santa Claus himself. So this is going to be a really great opportunity to close out the year for the Steel City chapter, but also too, I really greatly appreciate for everyone watching this live and also in a replay to go and please buy some sweepstakes, right? Promote it out there to people, because we're collecting money to give to scholarships. And I'd greatly appreciate any support that you might have and you can give. Now, that's what I wanted to cover. And we went almost a full hour. And I did appreciate a couple people did post. I really appreciate that as well, because we are on the eve of American Thanksgiving. So I know a lot of people are traveling and they're getting ready for a big feast and celebration of friends, family, and everyone tomorrow. But I want to thank you for participating, those that sent in questions, those that posted, really participating on this live Ask Me Anything broadcast. I'm going to be doing these probably, every so often, maybe once a quarter. Minimum, I think I'll do it twice a year, maybe at the end of the mid-season break, and then also too at the end of the year break when I get ready for the next upcoming year. But join me next time as I continue our coatings talk and dive deeper into topics such as coatings technology, surface preparation, coating application, quality inspection, and more. And don't forget to subscribe to the Coatings Talk channel and stay updated on the latest episodes. I greatly appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more exciting content on amazing global protective coatings and corrosion industry. Okay, thank you, and please have a great evening, afternoon, morning, no matter where in the world you're coming from. Thank you.